You know what cracks me up about the whole Redskins name change thing is that I see people on social media mad about them changing their name, going, "Oh, this is bullshit. Why they changing their name? All this, you know." And they're not Redskins fans. By the way,
No,
Francisco, I know you're just playing, man. I'm only messing with you, but we're having fun. Yeah, they're not. So I don't get it. Like, if someone asked me, they go, "Joe, what do you think about the Redskins changing the name?" I go, "Well, it sounds pretty derogatory. Redskins. It's got a history that's bad. I think they should change the name." Furthermore, I'm not a Redskins fan, so I'm not that invested in it. I would like them to change it, but I don't give a shit. And I know people who aren't Redskins fans, don't own any Redskins merch, who are literally like, "What the fuck? This is bullshit." I'm like, why do you care that a team you don't watch or support is doing anything?
do you think the reason why the Redskins suck is because of the Native American curse that got thrown on them from having that shitty name for so long?
Could be, which on the flip side of that, if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, you're like, we're not changing our fucking name. Fuck you. We're not changing
Yeah,
shit. Because people
yeah.
wanted there was some people a while ago that wanted every single sports team that had like a Native American like representation in their mascot be erased. And
Yeah.
though the thing is though, you talk to some Native Americans or a lot of Native Americans and they're like, no, some of them are cool. Some of them aren't.
Yeah.
You know?
Blackhawks.
Yeah, I mean,
Blackhawks is named after a specific tribe.
it was actually not a tribe. It's named after a chief. There was no like Blackhawk tribe, but there was a Blackhawk chief.
Okay.
I only know because
Wait.
I've done a lot of research and I'm a big Blackhawks fan. The thing is, they were originally like Blackhawks two words up until 1986, and then they just
Mhm.
became Blackhawks one word. So if they wanted to, they could go Blackhawks like two words. And then there was this really cool logo
And
of like a
change to like
hawk that had like feathers, so it kind of had both worlds blended together. I thought that'd be pretty cool.
yeah, yeah, that should work. But I think they're fine. Redskins and Indians has to go.
Oh, the
I
Indians was
I think
bad because
I
it's so general, and the logo was like this big red
yeah
face. Looked drunk. He looked pretty. Chief
yeah
Wahoo looked like he was fucked up. He looked hammered, you know. So
yeah
it was kind of a bad little stereotype going on there.
yeah. All the other ones I think is it's fine.
Yeah,
It's
Braves
like
doesn't sound bad,
yeah.
but they're gonna
I
do away
mean
with the tomahawk chop. That's
yeah,
bad.
but also the Chiefs said they're gonna do away with that shit too.
Yeah, they're gonna stop that, but I think they're keeping the
Mhm.
team name.
Yeah,
I know there's some college football teams like Florida State Seminoles. I don't know if the Seminoles tribe is like, hey, that's got to go. So I don't know how it started. How did it start where they're like, let's name it after Native Americans? I don't know if like, I think there were some good intentions with a lot of these teams, and then there were some bad ones too. Like Blackhawks was coincidental because the first Blackhawks team owner, his World War One like fighter pilot division was called the Blackhawk Division. So it was like a
mhm,
name that the army had given the bunch of planes that fought together. Kind of like the Red Tails, which would be really cool if the Washington Redskins became the Red Tails to honor the
that would be dope.
Tuskegee Airmen.
Yeah, yeah. So that's why I say like Blackhawks isn't bad because I'm cool with Red Tails.
Yeah,
It's honoring a specific thing. But the Redskins and Indians is just first off they're not Indians.
they're
Like
not. Here's a Cleveland fan, Gary Lee from Cleveland. Indians are changing their name without needing to distract from a scandal. Yeah, well, that's good. But yeah,
yeah,
it's still, a lot of people would say that it took them a long time to do it. I don't know why people are so married to these team names. Pretty much every franchise has changed their name in their history. The Cleveland Indians were originally the Cleveland Spiders. I think they went back to the Spiders and had like a cool, like maybe Spider-Man design going on. That'd be pretty badass. Maybe partner up with
yeah,
Marvel, get some of that Disney money flowing their way. I don't know if you
yeah.
guys see this, but I got some Avengers toys right behind me here. I got Captain America,
No,
Black Widow, Thor,
hey Joe, here's
and
the funny
Hulk.
thing about you. Pre-quarantine, you didn't give a shit about Marvel shit at all. Now you're like a Salmonier of Marvel Universal shit.
Dude, I love it, man. I'm so
Yeah,
pissed at myself. I was
you
thinking
went
about it
over a
recently.
decade, 15 years of just being in the clouds, not giving a fuck. Avengers, go fuck yourself.
Well, I
You know,
saw the
and
first two Avengers in the theaters. I saw like the Avengers in 2012 and then the Avengers Age of Ultron in the theater. And then I saw the first Thor in the theater and the first Iron Man. I didn't see Iron Man 2 in the theater. So there was like a handful I saw. But I was way behind. I was like 14 movies behind.
yeah,
Disney Plus rolls around. Obviously, the quarantine helped a lot. And I'm mad at myself now, though, because I wish I could go back in time so saw the movies as they came out so I could experience Avengers Endgame opening night in the theater because one of my favorite things to watch is you can see
yeah,
YouTube videos or it's on Twitter where someone will have like the crowd reaction so they'll be like filming on their phone and then
yeah,
like Spoiler alerts. If you have not seen Avengers Endgame, I will not be mad at you for cutting away right now at the
Disney
14-minute
Plus is
mark.
only $7.
Yeah, it's $7. Catch up on this shit because it is so fucking worth it. The whole MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe, is a masterpiece. I love it to death, and I think the only people who don't like it are fucking pieces of shit who can't see fun in anything.
Yeah.
Dude, but that scene, so there's like that hype scene, like the big battle, and when Captain America gets Thor's hammer, which I can never pronounce the name of it, the Miura, I believe, and like, dude, there's like theater reactions where people are going fucking insane. It feels like you're watching like a game 7 between the Chicago Cubs and the Cleveland Indians where people are going nuts. And when like everyone comes back and you hear just like Falcon going on your left, which is a badass callback from like 7 movies ago. Chills, dude.
Yeah.
I get so pumped. It's so many different scenes. Even Captain Marvel's arrival was one of the most badass arrivals during that fight scene. When they're just like, what the hell's that?
They did that so right because she was early on in a 3-hour movie within the first 20 minutes, and then she's gone forever. So long where you forget about her.
Yeah.
So when
Change
you
your
watch it
haircut.
the first time, you're like, what the fuck is that? And then you're like, oh, fuck, I forgot about this bitch. And then, yeah.
Dude, so who's your favorite? Who's your favorite superhero?
Shit. You know what? It's gonna be a weird one. Gambit.
All right.
Yep.
Well, here's a good question then. I love Gambit. Gambit's one of my favorites because he was just cool as shit. You know what I mean? He had like that Raging Cajun thing. He was always trying to bang Rogue, even though it probably would have killed him. Because he was like, dude, I think that pussy's worth the risk. That's what he kept saying. Yeah. And as a kid, watching the animated series, I was like, fuck, man. That's when I knew, like, I'm a heterosexual man. You know, because I want to be like Gambit. I want to risk it all for Rogue. I want my Rogue.
Also,
you know?
Old school shit. Dennis's place, old arcade place on Sheffield University had Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and I always let off with Gambit.
Yeah, and when you think about as far as powers go, it's not like the coolest. He can charge things with kinetic energy.
Yeah.
The thing that killed me was that he always used cards, but every now and then in an episode of the animated series, he would like light something else up. I remember one time him and Beast were like behind a wall, and Beast saw an apple and like used his foot to flip it over to Gambit. Gambit charged the apple, and it was like a way bigger explosion than any of the cards. But then again, you can't carry around a bushel of apples. 52 cards is 52 bombs. So I get
like
that.
8 decks on you. You'd be a fucking casino boss.
Right, dude? Let me, Francisco Zambrano has now said that it's pronounced Mjolnir. Thor's hammer. That's what I thought it was. It's one of those things where whenever he says it in the movies, I got to rewind it to hear exactly how he pronounces it.
I think it's Mjolnir. Am I right about that?
Mjolnir? No, Mjolnir sounds right.
Mjolnir, I think so. I don't know.
Mjolnir. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and then he says that Gambit had his powers suppressed by Mr. Sinister. I know, and I'm glad that Fox didn't do the Mr. Sinister in any of their X-Men movies, because that was the big reveal at the end of X-Men, I believe, Age of Apocalypse, where they show like Essex Corps, which is like Mr. Sinister at like the end credits scene. Because I'm excited, like you chose Gambit as your favorite. I'm excited, but I'm also curious how Marvel is going to incorporate X-Men into the MCU. Because let me tell you this, man. X-Men Days of Future Past just came on Disney Plus, so I was checking that out. But the thing that I can't understand is if all of a sudden the X-Men appear in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, if I'm Spider-Man or the Hulk, Bruce Banner, and I meet Jean Grey or even Magneto, I'm going to be like, yo, where the fuck were you during the whole Thanos thing? We could have used you. Did you guys not see that half of the population of the universe just disappeared? Xavier, you didn't see that shit coming? I think they'd be really pissed off if they met the X-Men. So I don't understand how they're going to, marry those two universes.
I got a theory.
All right, lay it on me.
It's going to take a lot of suspense of disbelief or whatever the fuck they call that shit. They're going to have a backstory where mutants are not welcomed at all, where you almost have to go into hiding, like concentration camps or whatever, or like Jews back in. I gotta be careful. Blacks and Jews are getting along right now because Nick Cannon, but
we can talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah, but they have to go into hiding, because they're not welcomed, and something has to bring them out, and then they find out about it. So deep hiding that like Shield doesn't even know about them.
That's a
So
good call. I mean, it would have to be something like that. But then it kind of erases. I don't see a way. They're going to have to erase the old storylines that from the Fox movies, which is such a
oh
bummer
yeah, they can't
because
carry that. Yeah,
yeah, they can't
they
carry it
can't carry it
on.
over.
Which is hopefully they keep some of the same actors because some of them I really like. Like I love our girl from Game of Thrones as Jean Grey, whose name eludes me right now.
Yeah,
Sophie Turner. Sophie Turner is Jean Grey, and I think she's amazing. Um, yeah, so like some Francisco Zambrano says they're saying Scarlet Witch will activate the mutant population, so maybe the mutants don't exist, and then she'll get that going, I guess. But the whole backstory is that
that's good.
she's Magneto's daughter.
In the real story,
Yeah,
in
that
the
like
real,
in the real comics, so they'll have to. The
but
MCU is its own thing. I know that.
right, because the MCU they couldn't use mutants. So all the superheroes are either gods or they got some bit by a spider or like they Scarlet Witch for example, she was created out of the stone, the Mind Stone. They used
Yeah.
the Mind Stone to create her power. So they need to find a way to create mutants outside of that realm of the Scarlet Witch thing is a good theory too. I like that.
Now I remember that's a good theory, but now I actually remember James Webb, founder of the People of Comedy Network, which we are broadcasting live from on their Facebook page. People of Comedy, check out all the podcasts on the People of Comedy Network, everyone. Some good ones, some gems. He mentioned that the next Doctor Strange, which has already been announced, I think they'll start filming when they could start filming pretty soon, because I think it's set to come out in like 2021, is going to be called like Doctor
The
Strange. Yeah, go ahead.
multiverse of madness.
The multiverse of madness. And because of that, there's going to be different dimensions that will then come together in a sense, and that will bring the world of which where the X-Men existed into the MCU.
Oh,
That makes the most
yeah.
sense now that I
Yeah.
remember him bringing that up. And that seems like a cool way to do that, because then you won't have that moment where Doctor Strange is like, yo, where the fuck were you guys? Seriously. Like, Xavier, your school's in upstate New York. You knew some shit was going down. So I think that's the way to go.